गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः। ॐ योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्नाम् अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं। उनको देखो पीछे, दे आर ऑन द फ्लोर, उनको कोई कपड़ा दे दो नीचे। मैट है सबके पास है। ओके, सो वी आर इन श्रीमद् भागवतम कैंटो 12 चैप्टर 10 वर्स नंबर we are in verse number 22. That's right, we concluded at 21 last time, and that was with regards to the Lord Shiva and Parvati, they were going through the Akash Marg, and when they were going, just strolling around, they saw, Lord Shiva saw our sage Markandeya sitting and meditating deeply, coolly, unaffected, undisturbed. And last week I was explaining to you how Parvati Amma, she is inseparable from him, and how at that very moment, the moment he saw that very moment, because speech comes out of Prakriti, mind is in Prakriti, Shiva is complete, he is of the knowledge of the self, his potentiality, which is our mind. Our self cannot speak, isn't it? Our mind speaks, our mind thinks, and in that thinking comes out as speech. So immediately Parvati, in our case, we think something, we speak something, we feel something, totally disintegrated. Whereas how we should be completely integrated like Shiva and Parvati. So what we think, the conscious principle and the mind, and how that integration is possible? That integration is possible only when the mind is continuously thinking, contemplating, loving, having faith, having devotion, surrendered towards the source. So what is the source of the mind? Can mind express by itself? No. Mind is the potentiality of whom? Mind is the potentiality of the self. So when mind is focused on the self with all those qualities, then integration comes about. Otherwise, when mind is outwards, then the breakup of personality takes place. See? And this we don't find in Shiva and Parvati. The moment Shivji saw, Parvati said, "Hey, darling, look at that wonderful deeply meditative sage who has who is well qualified for your ashirwad and you must give him some boon. Let's go there and let's give him some boon. What will be Shivji thinking at that time? She's just taken the words out of my mouth. This is what happens in satsang sometimes, no? When we are in tune with the teacher or with the text that we are doing, the moment sentence is just coming out of the mouth, you already have completed it, isn't it? That is syncing with the teacher. That is how husband and wife should be syncing. That is how the consciousness and the mind and the consciousness must be syncing with each other. Then see, then this Hridaya Granthi, which we call as avidya kama karma, ignorance, desire and action, this just melts away. The ego melts away straight away. Instantaneously, it doesn't take the long journey. Keep thinking about this. It is so important in today's times that our mind orients rather than the outside world towards the source. Then everything will be taken care of. Don't worry how, why, when, in what manner, everything will happen correctly. What is that correctly? That correctly by way of which the mind becomes even more oriented, even more surrendered, even more at one with its source. That is what its journey will be. And whatever is required in the life, it will be taken care of. It will be provided. It will be. That is not our concern. Our problem is that we think we are the mind. Shivji doesn't think he is the mind. See, we are studying Bhagavatam. It's a scripture. Scriptures are for whom? Are the scriptures for the world? No. Jada Vastu, the body, the senses, or the objects of the world, what will they do with the scriptures? Scriptures also a part of that world only, isn't it? So it is not for the world. Is the world for the Lord? Is it for the Ishvara? It is not for the Ishvara also. Is the scripture for the self? It is not for the self also. Then it is for whom? It is for the Jivatma, not even for the mind. Mind's job is for what? Only to allow the thoughts to appear and disappear, or appear and disappear. What is the job of the eye? To see and not see, to see and not see. It's not attached to anything. Ears are not attached to any sound. Mind is not attached to any thoughts. So for whom is this scripture or this whole world? It is for the Jivatma. And who is the Jivatma? The one who feels he is the body, who is identified with the body as I. For him, the scriptures are. See, I don't know if you have ever thought about it that way. Only for him. It is not for anyone else. It is only for that one who is identified with the body. Now, if you consider that you are in a satsang and you are sitting across a scripture called Bhagavatam, then for whom is it? And it is teaching you the journey, how to go. Continue to function through the mind. Let the mind continue its function. But you disconnect, you disassociate, you rise above the mind. Don't consider yourself to be the person who is expressing through the mind. When you express through the mind, you become the seer, hearer, toucher, feeler, experiencer, knower, husband, wife, brother, sister, etc. You become something. When you rise above the mind, like Ishvara, or like the Sakshi, or like the Sakshi meaning the self, then you don't become anyone. then everything, all activities of the life continue, but you do not get attached to them, you don't get identified with them. This is the beautiful relationship of Shiva Shakti, because Shiva knows Shakti is the potentiality, is his potentiality. We don't know that mind is the potentiality. We have started and if it is our potentiality, then we should be able to control it. We should be able to guide it. Isn't it? If we should be able to monitor it. But we are not able to. We are at the mercy of the mind. This transformation has to be brought about. This transformation is not of the mind. It's of the jiva. Yes, he is using the equipment called mind, no doubt. But the understanding has to happen for the jiva. This jiva, and it will only happen if he keeps thinking, nothing is going to happen until and unless he does not accept. Either he is accepting he is the Gaunatma, he is the husband, daughter, virtual person, or he is thinking he is the Mithya Purush, meaning he is the body, or he is thinking that he is the witnessing self. So you can only take one position. You cannot have, no, I am a husband, but I am the self also. You cannot, because it will express in your daily activities. So but it's a knowingness. It is not something to logically work out. It's a knowingness. What position do you take? So be intelligent. So here Sutji says, highly pleased when extolled thus the aforesaid Lord, the foremost of the gods and the resorts of the highest righteous, heartily laughed and with a cheerful mind replied to the sage as follows. Because when Lord Shiva and Parvati come and they say, come, you take a boon from us, he extols them, he praises them, he does the puja, he gives them a seat, he says, what can I ask a boon? Your darshan is itself enough. And yet, if you are telling me that I must ask a boon, give me a Ananya Bhakti towards my beloved Lord, who was Sri Hari or Narayana. And but what did he do? He gave first he praised the Lord that how great he is. And then Bhagwan heartily laughed with a cheerful mind, replied. What did he reply? Shri Bhagwan Uvacha, will just chant this again. Varam vrunishvanat kamam varadesha vayam trayah amogham darshanam yesham martyo yadvindate mrutam brahmana sadhava shanta nisanga bhutavatsala ekanta bhakta asmasu nirvaira samadarshina saloka lokapalastan vandantyarchantya vasate aham cha bhagavan brahma swayam cha haririshwarah nate mayuchyute tyecha bhidamanvapi chakshate natmanascha janasyapi tadyushman vayamimahi nahyam mayani tirthani na devascetanonjitah te punatyurukalena yuyam darshanamatrataha brahmanebhyo namasyamo yesmadrupam praimayam vibhratyatmasamadhana tapaswadhyaya संयमैः श्रवणाद् दर्शनाद्वापि महापातकिनोऽपि वः शुद्धेरन्त्यजाश्चापि किमु सम्भाषणादिभिः. He said, the Lord said, ask us a boon of your choice, since we three, Brahma, Vishnu and myself, are masters of those who are capable of granting boons. If Bhagwan comes in front of you, they will grant you a boon. And if you consider yourself to be an individual, huh, then what will you do? You will ask. You will ask for your individual rights. That's the society today, no? You will ask, what is the benefit if I have relationship with this person? What is the benefit if I invest here? What is the benefit if I buy this cloth? Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? Is it worth the money? It's always you are looking for your benefit. Does a tree look for his benefit, or he just abundantly gives the fruits without keeping anything for himself? Does the river keep the water for herself, or abundantly allows people to share the waters for irrigation, sports, drinking, whatever? Does the earth keep anything to itself? We throw, we trample, we urinate, we defecate on the earth, but she recycles everything and makes it into manure. From one seed, one tree comes. From one seed, one tree comes. And from one seed, how many more fruits you are going to get? How many fruits you are going to get? Hundreds. Not for 1 day or 2 days, for hundreds of years, isn't it? Look at a mango. अभी किसी ने लगाया, तुमने लगाया ना मैंगो पीछे कि बनाना लगाया, बनाना हाँ. See? So everything in nature is not asking for anything, but whatever nature gets, it gives back hundredfolds. Bhagwan also gives us back. He does not want anything for himself, but he gives it 100. You remember him once, he gives you 100 times back. Is your disposition like that in life right now? Are you the father, mother, daughter, sister? Are you the Jivatma, or are you consider yourself to be of the nature of Paramatma? If you are wanting, calculating, manipulating, demanding, you know where you stand. But if you are a seeker and you consider, and your goal is to merge into the Lord, then what is the quality of the Lord? That He lives in abundance. You give Him, as I said, you remember Him once, He gives you 100-fold. So is our presence an asset to the nature, or is our presence an opposite क्या है? Liability to the nature. Yes, liability to the nature. Are we only looking at the world as a bhogya vastu? Bhogya vastu, I want. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, they don't want. They only want to give. But they are only when someone calls, they go. Because they know when they go, they will not come back without giving. They know they will not come back without giving. So is our presence adding value to any environment where Lord has placed us? Are we bringing a smile? Are we giving helping the poor? Are we taking care of the needy? Are we a good listener to those who want to download? All types of different jobs are there, no? Is our presence inspiring another one to be a better person? We are not demanding that you have to be better. Copy me. No. That will be an ego trip. You just keep doing what is the right. See? Keep purifying. Keep accepting yourself to be of the nature of the self or Paramatma. Then nothing but auspiciousness will flow through you. And that is so now I have given you a parameter. In this last 1 minute, I have given you a parameter for you to assess yourself whether you are Gaunatma, or you are Mithyatma, or you are Mukhyatma. Are you a virtual person? Are you what do you call? Actual, or we can say, which is the Jivatma, or you are the absolute one? See? सोचने वाली बात है ये थोड़ी सी. जस्ट लिस्ट थिंकिंग अबाउट इट. कहाँ से थॉट आ रहा है मुझे भी पता नहीं पर मजा आ रहा है. देखो ऐसे हैं अपने बाबा. सो दिस इज द गोल दैट वी मस्ट वर्क टुवर्ड्स. So they say that myself, Brahma, Vishnu and myself are masters of those who are capable of granting boons. Who are the ones who grant boons? The Siddhas, the Mahatmas. Who are these three? The masters of them. Okay, you don't be a master, but with whatever capacity we have, if you are a good cook, are you able to, do you refuse anyone if someone comes to eat food? If you are good at something, do you refuse if someone comes and asks for help? Or try to adjust somewhere or the other? And so on and so forth. We must be Swamiji also says this, Gita also says this. We must be a giver, not a taker. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, they don't want anything. Then why they want your name? Why they want you to take their name? They don't want. You want to take their name. Why? You want blessings. See? You want blessings. You want to merge in them. You want to be more than who you are at this present moment. Therefore, you want to remember them. But as a result of that remembrance, as a result of that sadhana, if they appear in front of you, whether they appear in your dream, whether they come and present themselves in this room, or they present many masters, many sadhakas I have met, to whom their teacher, who is no longer, but he has appeared in their room. In our Gita class and Sunday class, these two Western ladies come. One has passed away now. Teresa, you must have seen Teresa and Louise. Now, Louise, she never met Sai Baba. But she has been dreaming of Sai Baba for years. And then one day he came into her room and he is talking to her and everything. And she is absolutely, initially she was afraid because of how he looks. But then when he started speaking to her, talking to her, and she goes to church, she's got nothing. Who is this fellow? See? So these things happen, they come to bless. Then their orientation automatically moved towards Vedanta. They did years of organizing Sai Satsangs in Melbourne. They were the first committee in Melbourne to organize Sai Satsangs, Teresa and Louise. One of the first. That time it used to be they were telling me, that time it used to be in Paran on Chapel Street, where I went once. See? But how Mahatmas, gods, devas bless us. They only come for blessing, and their blessings is many folds. Our demand is teeny meeny. Dhruv wanted to sit on the lap of his father, and what did God give him? He made him sit on the lap of the divine in the universe. Prahlad, same way. See, how are we? Where are we? What is our quality of our remembrance of the Lord? What is our interaction with ourselves? That is most important, because you can't catch Lord out there. You can't catch Lord in the wall, or Prahlad got the Lord in the what do you call, in the pillar. So are you going to keep breaking all the walls to find? Are you Hiranyakashipu to break or what? No, we have to cultivate that love. Then he will appear, he will come. You are not comfortable? Okay. Then Brahmana Sadhava Shanta Nisanga Bhutavatsalaha Ekanta Bhakta Asmasu Nirvaira Samadarshinaha. Not only the guardians of the spheres, including the denizens of those spheres, but myself, the glorious Brahma and the Almighty Sri Hari himself, salute, worship and wait upon Brahmanas who are pious by nature, tranquil, free from envy, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, free from anger, greed, jealousy, envy, hypocrisy and ego, devoid of attachment, yet affectionate towards all created beings, are exclusively devoted to us, and free from animosity, and look upon all with an equal eye. This is the basic quality. If you want to merge into the Lord, if you call yourself to be the devotee of the Lord, if you are a sadhaka, if you are purifying yourself, these qualities must express out of you. And what is that? This is called sadhu bhav. Mahatma is not because you wear these colors. Yesterday I went to this, yesterday I went to this physiotherapy, and there the lady, she's just migrated from Queensland to Victoria. She said, oh, so I had my track pants and I had a red t-shirt and a red jacket and a red cap, no red boots. So she said, oh, the red color looks good on you. I said, yeah, I'm a Red Riding Hood. You see? It's not because of red color, not because of this ochre color, that one becomes a sannyasi. Sannyasi is not a practice. Sannyasi is not a practice. Sannyasi is a state of mind which comes about, which is not attached to anything in the world. It's working in the world, but it is not having any hook in the world whatsoever. That is sannyas. And how is that possible, not to have any hook? Samyak nyas, meaning you are ever equanimous in all situations. Then how come some sannyasis are angry, some sannyasis demand some food? Their mind is doing it. Their mind is doing it because of the prarabdha that is continuing, no? Body, breath, mind, intellect will continue to function even though you have checked out. See? But that should not be an excuse. No, I am a sannyasi, but गुलाब जामुन है क्या, चलो एक और लगा लेते हैं. हमें जी सन्यासी तो डोंट डिमांड. नहीं, माइंड इज डिमांडिंग, आई एम नॉट डिमांडिंग. That is hypocrisy. But at the same time, you can never know. You can never know. Sannyasi, the one who is established in that dispassion, only he knows. See? So we are not here to judge other people or assess other people. We are here to work upon our own mind, making sure in every situation, in every desh kala vastu, we remain alert towards our mind, that it does not slip into some demand, it does not slip into kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, it does not slip into maintaining differences with the world, it does not slip into assessment, judgment, biasness, other sense of otherness, because all this is outside, isn't it? How will it get integrated? When it is focused on the divine. For that, what do you require? You require alertness, you require a focus, you require a deep faith towards the higher, that the divine pulls you towards him. See? So, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, we see in the stories, we see in the Puranas, that wherever they go, if they come across a Brahmana, Krishna Bhagwan used to, I told you last week I think, that he washed the feet of Sudama, he used to wash the feet of all the sadhu, Mahatmas. Ramchandraji, when he went to Vanvas, all the sadhus that he met, he used to wash their feet. Not, I am the king, I am the Mahatma, I am the, incarnation of the divine. He knows that he is the incarnation of divine. Ramchandraji knows he is the incarnation of divine. Krishna Bhagwan knows he is the incarnation of divine. Yet, they are absolutely humble, because Dharma says, and their disposition is that they are at service of the Brahmanas, not Brahmanas, those. Nowhere in scriptures you will find Brahmana means who has the railway line on his forehead. Brahman means who is having a electric pole on his forehead. Brahmana means who is wearing a janeu. Brahmana means who is wearing a choti. Brahmana means who is wearing a dhoti or a angavastra. And while doing puja or taking bath, they will wear a sannyasi cloth, the ochre cloth, and afterwards again back into, or today's pujaris, during the puja they wear these ochre cloths or saffron cloths. After the puja, pant shirt pehen ke nikal gaye. Nowhere in scripture it said that Brahmana means with all these outward signs. Nowhere. Nowhere in our scriptures it says that you can't eat this or you can eat that. Because nature of the world is what? What is the nature of the world? Up change, right? Today you have food. Suppose tomorrow onwards there is an extreme famine and there is no food available. Just like few months ago we had all the supermarket empty. And if it had continued for 1 or 2 months, no grains, no rice, no dal, no sab kuch, then what would you have done? You will eat whatever is available. So are scriptures, remember, are here scriptures only for Hindu? Is the Sanatana Dharma, which is the Vedas, the Puranas, the Itihas and the Sant Vachan, is it only for Hindus? Or is it for the entire humanity? It is for the entire humanity. And it is the nature of the humanity. Humanity is in this world, in this universe. And in this, on this earth for example, and continuously, you cannot have everything perfect all the time. Sometimes there will be ups, sometimes there will be down. Sometimes there will be plenty, sometimes there will be lack. Sometimes there will be abundance, sometimes there will be hardly anything available, scarcity. Sometimes there will be water, sometimes there will be no water. Then in those cases, because you are not able to be vegetarian, because today we say Brahman means vegetarian, isn't it? If you are not able to be vegetarian, then is it that you will never be able to know the truth? So those Buddhist monks who eat yak meat, they can never come to merge into the divine. They can never be a seeker. Wrong conclusion, no? So scriptures don't discriminate. Scriptures are for humanity, and scriptures are for are taking into consideration their approach is not towards people of only this period of time, which is last for how many years we know. We know maybe 70, 80, 100 years ago, some information is there. Now children of India are discovering that the history they were taught was totally wrong. But we learned all that wrong history, isn't it? So we know a little bit more, Now slowly, all the greatness of our country is becoming exposed. But it's only hearsay. See? So, scriptures are not for people of only this time. Scriptures are for people for all the time. Scriptures are for all the people everywhere. Scriptures are for all the beings, gross or manifest or unmanifest. Meaning, जो भी अपने आप को जीव समझता है, भूत ही है basically. So we can't. So nowhere it is said. So who is Brahmin? नींद आ रही है? नहीं, इधर थक गए हो पूरा दिन काम करके. हाँ, नहीं मेरे पास नहीं है. नहीं तो I would have given you tiger balm and put it on your दूसरी जेब में है मेरे पास. The scriptures are for everyone. So here, and they are telling, here Bhagavatam is telling that gods are also subservient. They bend down, they wash the feet. They will do whatever is required to protect the Brahmanas. Brahmin is who? Or Brahmana is who? Who is thinking of Brahman. Not Brahman with what all the signs and I do get up every morning, 4 o'clock, I do japa, I do pranayam, I do puja, I remember Ram, I remember Krishna, I remember. All that is okay. All that is okay. But you have created an idea of Brahman in your mind. You have concluded that your actions will bring Brahman in your, you can, so that you can catch him, you can experience him, you can know him. Nope. How can you? Because that Brahman is, where is he? Where is he, Brahman?
Within you.
He is expressing as the self within you. He is closer than the closest. So who are Brahmanas? Who are thinking of the Brahman as the self, initially within themselves, then also as they come closer and their mind becomes focused on it, then same feeling that this same Brahman who is expressing in me as the I is expressing as the I in everyone. That's when unconditional love towards one and all. That's the sadhu bhav. That's the sadhu bhav. See, and that's what he is saying here. That they are, and sadhus are, who are sadhus? Last week I told you, they forgive and forget even if atrocities are committed against them. They do not go out there to take a revenge. Bhool chook sab maaf. If you have to do that with others, how will you do it with others if you are not forgiving yourself for all the mistakes that you have done in your past life? Past life meaning in the years that you have already lived. We have to forgive because nothing can be done about past. Forgive and forget, but make a commitment that you don't repeat the same mistake again. Understand? They are tranquil. I explained in detail last week. I don't want to go. And free from animosity and look upon all with an equal eye. Samadarshinaha. Then the Samadarshina, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. An equanimous attitude. No, what is equanimous? When you move through the world without likes or dislikes. That is Samadarshina. Samadarshina. So how do you go through the world without likes and dislikes? You have to be the witness. You have to be the Sakshi. Sakshi bhav will come. Before that comes Samadarshina. That you are seeing but you are not reacting to anything. You don't normally, A person with ego will go with a commentary in his mind. Oh, what a beautiful figure. Oh, what a handsome body. Oh, what a beautiful rainbow. Oh, what a cold temperature. Oh, it's so nice and warm inside. Like, dislike, like, dislike, like, dislike, like, dislike. But who is Samadarshina? The mind may be giving commentary like this. It will feel the heat, it will feel the cold, it will, this is beauty. But there is no one who is getting attached to it. Samadarshina. What happens with, if you are not Samadarshi, if something beautiful is there, you will go and see it again because you saw it was beautiful. How beautiful, man. Oh my God. Second comment will come. Samadarshina, second comment will never come. It will not interact with it again. Okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? Because life is continuous, no? You go back to the same thing again because you are not Samadarshi. Because you gave a little bit value to it as a like or dislike. So Samadarshina is being alert not to create likes and dislikes in our mind as we move through life. Very, very important point if we are a seeker. The next one, where are we? 22. न ते मय्युच्युते जे च भिदामण्वपि चक्षते नात्मनश्च जनस्यापि तद्युष्मान् वयमीमहि. 22nd, they do not perceive the least difference between me, Lord Vishnu, and Brahma, the birthless creator, nor between themselves and another living being. Therefore, we resort to you. Bhagavan is telling, Lord Shiva is telling sage Markandeya, who are these Brahmana? He is not saying that you are. They are not taking his name. They are saying Brahmana in general because sage is Brahmana only. And what is his quality? That they do not consider Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh as separate from each other. When I ask you, are you the father, the son, and the husband? Yes. What is the commonality between them? What is the commonality between them? I am the common person. I only am expressing as the three. You can see that. Are you able to see the oneness between Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh? Meaning, is your attention on that Paramatma who is expressing as Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh? In other words, are you able to remain with the self even though waker Brahma, waker Vishnu, dreamer Brahma, deep sleeper Shiva? These three are happening. Are you able to, or you get lost in the waking, you get lost in the dream, and you get lost in the sleep? Or are you, do you know that these three came yesterday and went? Before also? So which means you are other than these three. So are you alert towards that one? Brahmanaha are those, sages are those, Mahatmas are those who are alert towards that common denominator in spite of the different expressions. Just like you know there is eyes, head, nose, mouth, chin, chest, legs, hands, everything is separate. Each one has its different functionality. Correct? So do you get lost in any one of them? No. You consider them that they are all one me. Isn't it? One body with different parts. Just like one mind with 4 different parts. What are the 4 different parts? Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. So that thought which is of the nature of memory is called Chitta. that thought which is of the nature of discrimination is called buddhi. That thought which cannot discriminate is called as chit, is called mana, and that thought which says all these are mine is called ahankar. But they are all thoughts only. So one mind, just like one man, husband, brother, sister, sorry, not sister, husband, wife, क्या कर रहा हूँ मैं? You understand? One man as husband, brother and son. Same way, one mind as mana buddhi chitta ahankar. Same way, one Ishvara, that one Paramatma expressing as the Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, that one self expressing as waker, dreamer, sleeper, that one waker expressing as all the different roles. See how wonderful once you start thinking like this. This is the one who is thinking in this manner is Brahmana. Is Brahmana. Continuously he is only lost in these type of thoughts. They do not perceive the least difference between me, Vishnu and Brahma, nor between themselves and another living being. Naturally, when you come close to your source, which is you, the self, and your position is that one Paramatma alone is expressing as the self in this body, just as one sun alone is expressing as the reflection of the sun in one bucket of water, the same sun is reflecting as another reflected sun in second bucket of water, third bucket of water. Sun is one, reflections are many. And you are now focused that one Paramatma alone is expressing as the self in me, as the self in him, as the self in her, as the self of every living being. And yeah, okay, let's keep it there at the moment. And your attention is on this, not finding how it is the self is there. Where is the self in there? No. Your attention is within yourself. You know that he is the one who is expressing as the self within, and your focus is on the self. Because through the doorway of the self, you can be the... And it is not after knowing the self that you will become Brahman. No. If you don't study Vedanta and understand these Bhagavad and you just meditate, you will go into meditation. That's all. But when you wake up, the world is still there. But if you understand what is these verses that we are taking and think, and it has gone deep into you and understanding is there, with that understanding you go into meditation and it clicks. Transformation. Transformation. Then whether you close your eyes or you don't close your eyes, it does not matter. Then it does not matter. Such is a sage. Such is a Brahmana. I am talking about the committed ones. Nor between themselves and another living being. Therefore, because you don't see, your vision is not that of establishing differences. Your attention is on the common principle in spite of the differences. Therefore, Shivji is saying, we come to you. Bhagwan only goes to those who have this type of vision. He doesn't go to every Tom, Dick and Harry. Because he is everywhere, he can manifest any time in front of anyone. Isn't it? He did not demand Shivji should come. Shivji and Parvati ji came by themselves. So why did they come? Because of this quality. Why they don't come in front of us? We establish differences. We are still not focused on the common denominator that is throbbing in and through all of us, all living beings. We still are body oriented. Therefore, me versus you versus him or her, and it goes on. न ह्यम्मयानि तीर्थानि न देवाश्चेतनोञ्झिताः ते पुनन्त्युरुकालेन यूयं दर्शनमात्रतः. In the 23rd verse he says, sacred places do not consist of holy waters alone, nor does lifeless idols alone represent the gods. Now think, whom do you pray to more? This thing I don't understand many places. In front of stone gods in the temples, people dress up so wonderfully and go. For satsang, they will come in their night dress. And where is transformation possible? More, the possibility of transformation, where is it possible? In a satsang. Not in front of a stone idol. Because stone idol cannot speak to you. You are seeing the stone idol separate to yourself. Satsang is reminding you that what you are seeking is within you, as you, is not separate from you. Think. थोड़ा सा चिंतन करो इसके ऊपर. But we feel, I'm not making any, but for pujas, for temples, for if you go to Char Dham, those who have come with me, or to any Tirtha Kshetra, you will go there, take a quick shower and get ready for the darshan with the fresh clothes. But for satsang, track pant, track shirt, with the most disheveled manner. बिस्तर से उठ के सीधे इधर, बिस्तर से उठ के straight from the bed. For those who don't understand Hindi, straight from the bed, with no freshness. Then for such an unfresh mind, it will not click. We have to be always, it's not, what he is saying here is, water in a holy place is not alone Tirtha. Ganga ji is not Tirtha only in Haridwar, Rishikesh and Himalayas. Wherever she goes, there is the Tirtha. You understand? The Vatavriksha, only because that Vatavriksha which is in the compound of the temple, you go and tie a thread. But every Vatavriksha is worthy of praise, no? Worthy of worship. That vision you have. So here you are, the breeze is coming, it's nourishing you. The sun is coming, it is nourishing you. The earth is there to allow you to walk and go about your job. Food is coming in abundance. Huh? So nature is continuously taking care of us. Do we have respect towards it? Do we have a feeling of gratitude towards it? If you have gratitude, you cannot have gratitude in that lazy mind, in the sleep. You are not got up from bed and you think, I have gratitude, thank you for giving me everything, Osha, now give me sleep. I'll go to sleep. You have to be fresh. Your mind has to be fresh in order to feel the gratitude, isn't it? Otherwise, a lazy mind cannot feel gratitude. Think, I'm not saying this to point out anything, but so that we correct our approach towards life. That's why I'm saying this. That life has given us abundance. What did we deserve? You all know from where we all came from. Each one of you, you have had a very humble beginning to where you have come today. And we have all been breathing free air. We have all been walking on free earth. We have all been getting free water. Nowadays, a little bit we have to pay. Huh? See, everything is free. All we have got is free sun. And like clockwork, the waking dream sleep are coming and going. Let them come in. Have you? Thank you for giving me sleep also? Or do you consider it your birthright? You ask those people who can't sleep. You ask those people who can't sleep. So thank. You don't have to remember everything. The best thanks is to focus on the divine within your heart. Because He's all inclusive, no? He'll take care of everything. You can't cover all the options that are given in this universe. You can't. But if your attention is on that one who is expressing as this whole universe, or you are 100% sure that you are not missed out anything. नहीं तो लिस्ट कितनी लंबी हो जाएगी. तो what is smart? We are all into investment. Put little bit and get back a lot in return, isn't it? You plant one seed and you get thousands of fruits for hundreds of years. So what is the way? If you keep looking at the world, your desires will never satisfy. But you have one desire for the Lord, it will satisfy all your desires. It will evaporate, melt, dissolve away all your vasanas, all your samskaras. So, think smartly. Because some way or the other you are all working towards it. The difference is, there is I-ness, that I have to do it, I have to do it. You remember the Lord Atmatvena. You contemplate on him. Yes, do your japa, do your puja, whatever, but spend some time in contemplation that He alone is expressing as the Atma. Who is this Atma? It is the unchanging principle within me, and that unchanging principle is the same principle in everyone. How it is? Don't answer. Wait. How do you wait? Like we are doing in Kenopanishad. Wait. Indra is waiting. Last class you heard, no? Wait. No expectation. Wait. No sleep. Wait. It will appear. Answer will come. Such are Brahmanas. I am explaining a little bit extra, but it's important. And to such people, to such Mahatmas, to such Brahmanas, the Lord Himself goes. They seek their company. They are ready to serve them. So sacred places do not consist of holy waters alone. There are, but Gangaji is everywhere, Saraswati is everywhere, Krishna is everywhere, Bhima is everywhere, wherever she flows. Where are we? Nor do lifeless idols alone represent the gods. No, more than lifeless idols, living human beings, living beings represent God more than the lifeless idols. If we are a devotee of the God in the temple, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Kartikeya, Ganesh, whatever, but if that is not translating into a unconditional love towards a living being, I'm not talking only human being, any living being, then we are not a devotee. Then we are not a devotee. It's a hypocrisy then. If you are taking a Baygon spray and running after the spider, it's a hypocrisy. Then what do you do? Push him out here, that's all. करेगा क्या वो? नारायण के लिए अनंत शयना लेके आओ जरा. Tired? नहीं? Then the sacred waters and lifeless idols purify a man through a long process of time. How many times you have gone to Kailash? No, I'm asking my mind. I can't ask you. Some of you have gone once. But how many of you have gone to Tirtha Kshetras? Many times. How many times you have gone to Tirupati? Few times. How many times you have met different Mahatmas? Many times. Huh? Or wherever you are living in Bombay or Delhi or Bangalore or whichever place you are coming from, every day, every second day, or you will be going to some temple, क्योंकि हर नुक्के पे एक मंदिर बना होता है वहाँ पे, हाँ, everywhere. So how many times Kailash? Okay, I asked my mind, 8 times. What happened? Still here. Still here. Still here. So it is not. Then why do we go for sacred pilgrimages and yatras and temples? Because we want to communicate. We want to have an association. We feel, yes, because it is said Kailash is great, Badrinath is great. So we want to go explore, and we consciously take the hardship, get there, and we feel the satisfaction of having covered that hard journey and reaching the God. But what happens after that? Again, money under the table after coming down to Delhi. Again the same thing. Again the corruption, again the hypocrisy, again the tu मैं. So what was the transformation after going to various pilgrimages? After taking bath in water, in Ganga water, in Prayagraj, so many have come with me. Ganga ji, they have taken dip so many times. We have taken dip in Prayagraj so many times. Kumbh Mela time I have taken dip in the Triveni Sangam. Still giving lectures. So what transformation came? Has the vision transformed? Has the identification with the body dropped? A stone lying under a stream of water, it will take millions of years for the water to create a hollow in that stone, isn't it? Same way, how many millions of times will you take bath in the river in order to purify? It's temporary. Who is to say that for many lifetimes you have been taking bath in the Gangaji, that's why you are born in this holy land of India, still having this love for the Sanatana Dharma, still going for pilgrimages. Many lives you must have been doing that. So little by little growth is taking place. And that's what here Bhagavan is saying. Bhagavan is telling sage, the sacred waters and lifeless idols purify a man through a long process of time. Long process. And it's not just don't stop there. Puja, long process of time. Havan, long process of time. Pranayam, long process of time. Japa, long process of time. All this is long process of time. Hey, so we are doing wrong? No, good. You did it, that's why you are hearing this now. Now what to do? Here he says, what? Purify a man for a long process of time. Whereas saints like you, like sage Markandeya, Bhagavan is saying saints like you purify through mere sight. But when we come across the Brahmanas, when we come across pious souls, when we come across sadhus, their kataksha netra, their corner of their eye, the love, the compassion that they see you with, the loving touch that they give you, the hug they give you, they will just say one word and you melt. You have all seen that when people He-Man goes into the embrace of Ammachi, melts. When he cry, they don't know what broke down. but they break down. Mahatma, long time ago, before I went to the ashram, the last time before I went to the ashram, I was sitting far away. Ammachi was, that time she used to give darshan in, where? In Malwan, near the Pant Road के पास कहीं पे. तो, not Mooraben, you were not there that time. You were there, but not there. Only me and Niti had gone. You were in India. And I was sitting far away. I had done the hugging and everything. I was sitting far away and just sitting in meditation. And in my mind, her form came. And I'm sitting and I'm just chanting Amma, 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 Andari, Andari, Andar. Or in between, suddenly my eyes opened. And the moment the eyes opened, she's sitting here hugging and she's looking at me like this. And she's, with the eyes, she said, like that. And like a baby lamb after his mother, I got up, nobody blocked me. Nobody stopped me. Otherwise, there's a queue, no? I walked. My Putta, Krishna, Krishna, Putta. She hugged me and gave a message that time. See? One vision. And she told me something. See? So, all this sadhana that we do, all the pilgrim, we choose the long. हम क्या कर रहे हैं? नाक यहां से पकड़ रहे हैं. नाक सामने है भैया, सामने से पकड़ लो ना. भगवान को पकड़ना है, अपने अंदर पकड़ो. तुम बाहर जाके घूम के ढूंढ के पकड़ना चाहते हो. You are going everywhere about in this world to search for God, and God is closest to you in your heart as the self. There our attention is not going. We'll keep the Bhagwan का जो area होता है, we'll dust it, we'll do the puja, we'll put camphor, we'll put agarbatti, we'll decorate it all. But we will not do all that for our mind. We'll not decorate our mind with right thoughts. We'll not light the lamp of the japa in our mind. See how extrovert we are. जिस दिन ये क्लिक हो जाएगा उस दिन मानसिक जपा शुरू हो जाएगा. See? ब्राह्मणेभ्यो नमस्यामो येस्मद्रूपं त्रयीमयं बिभ्रत्यात्मसमाधान तपस्वाध्याय संयमैः. In the 24th verse he says, we bow to the Brahmanas who cherish our verbal manifestation in the form of the three Vedas through concentration of the mind, reflection, study and self-control. So you want to contemplate on the reality? Here Shivji, people say take the name, all that is okay. Here Shivji is telling. What is he saying? We bow to the Brahmanas. Gods are saying we bow to such sadhu purushas, to such mahatmas, with all the qualities that were given before. And we cherish our. And who are these Brahmanas? Even if they have not come to realize, they are still on in their process of developing those qualities that are given before. इसी को तो बोलते हैं ना brahmachari. So why do we give a janeu to a young kid at 6-7 year old? So that he becomes, the name is Brahmachari Diksha. Gayatri Diksha bolte hain, par Brahmachari Diksha. But what is that Diksha? Brahmachari. Chara means to walk. Walk the path of Brahman, towards Brahman. And what is the way? Chant the Gayatri Mantra, chant the Om, slowly. He doesn't need to know anything. We think knowing is important. No, purification of the mind is more important. But that we don't teach our children. Question पूछने से आंसर थोड़ा ना मिलता है. आंसर तो अंदर तुम्हारे पास ही है, तुम ही आंसर. You are the answer to yourself. But this modern way of asking question and getting an answer That means never take responsibility for finding your own answers. Always outsource. The world of outsourcing. Google and find out. You are the answer to yourself. What is the answer to this whole world? You are the answer to the whole world. But nobody has taught you. Nobody has taught us. I remember, I also went through the Janayu thing and everything, but I was ashamed. When I went to school with the इतना सा लगा के तब तक बाल आ गए थे पर पूरी तरह नहीं आए थे. And then she taught me the Gayatri Mantra. Well, he had taught me, the Pujari there at Tirupati, but afterwards I forgot. कभी सीखा ही नहीं था. Then she taught me. No, I don't know, 21 times. That was too much for us. But they never forced us to do anything. If she had forced, I would have become a Pandit. She didn't force, I became a sannyasi. But we didn't practice. For few months I did. But it was always under force. And afterwards they said, because they are working people, so जो होता है चलो ठीक है अपना, we have done our one sanskar and leave it to the Lord. Never forced us with anything. See? But if they had forced, if they had made sure, because see, we think everything will go and everything will happen, let it happen. It doesn't work that way. You make a person, I see, we did not like Karela, today we love Karela. We did not like Ghia, today we like Ghia. Like means we eat Ghia. Many things we did not like, today we like. We did not like cleaning the bathroom. She used to make us clean the bathroom. Today we clean the bathroom every week by ourselves. We did not wash the dishes, but every weekend we had to wash the dishes. Now we wash our own dishes. So whether you like or not right, that is not the point. Then what is right? What is to be done? What is right must be done. And what is right, if you keep doing it again and again and again and again and again, two things will happen. Either you will taken negatively, I'll tell first, taken negatively, it will become a mechanical thing. But one day, even if it is mechanical, one day it will click. यार ये तो आदत पड़ गई है, इसका क्या है? Then you will learn to do something without expecting anything in return. That is Sandhya Vandanam. That you do Sandhya Vandanam, you do the japa. Why you are doing? Not for any result, because it is the right thing. You remember the sun, you remember the air, you remember the waters, you remember the whole Srishti for what they have given us. We are not asking anything in return for that. You do the Agnihotra. See? But nobody taught us this. I had to go to the ashram to learn all this. Or not even ashram. There also they didn't teach. But as you keep unfolding the knowledge, now nobody has taught me all this. While I am reading, suddenly these thoughts are happening. It's the, what you call, the churning is taking place inside right now and the words are coming out. See? So, we bow to the Brahmanas who cherish our... So, when children are chanting Om, or now so many people are learning Sanskrit. Some of them, those who started learning Sanskrit, it is difficult, it is this. Instead of finding, Swamiji, I want to do it, I want to do it, I want to do it, they complain. Even adults. And many have started and many have gone away. But one young girl, I'll tell you, she passed year 12, and between year 12 and uni, you have no November end se leke January end tak they are free, and uni has to begin only in March or February end. So in those 3.5 months, the moment her university finished, I don't know from where she came to know, she said, Swamiji, I want to learn, I want to join. Batch had already started in October or September. I said, if you want to join in, you have to come take some extra classes and then you click into a class. And she came. She was free. She was coming two times a week. And within 4 or 5 weeks, she came to the level. Today, she has completed the entire book with Samidha and Deepika. They are able to read. She's able, and she's a Tamilian. She did not know even A, other than what she has studied in. I don't know. She doesn't read Tamil anyway. But today she's able to make sentences. She's able to read, and her whole motivation was she's a Carnatic singer, and she wanted to what she's singing in Sanskrit. She wanted to know the meaning. That was some of them start with that motivation. But fascinating. Samidha learns. She corrects me sometimes because I forget things. But you find it. So initially it was difficult. Chanting also same thing. Vedic chanting we are doing. Narayana Suktam, Purusha Suktam, Durga Suktam. Probably you know some of it. All of you, something or the other you must be knowing. But someday, or you do the artis. But someday you are doing it mechanically. Someday, suddenly, some word, some sentence in that mantra, in that chant, suddenly it clicks. हो गया सब बेड़ा पार हो गया उसके बाद. Suddenly knowledge about that, and suddenly the interest increases and you dive deep into that particular thing. Isn't it? That's how you all come to the satsang also. तुम क्या बचपन से सत्संग कर रहे हो क्या? नहीं, हम भी नहीं थे, हम तो बहुत दूर भागते थे. See? So as you become exposed, if the child is exposed at a young age, brahmachari, then he becomes a Brahmin. And it does not matter. Brahma, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra is not from birth point of view. It's from karma and guna, or jnana. You can raise. Now who brought about these scriptures we are studying? Who wrote all these scriptures? Who wrote the Puranas? Ved Vyas. What was Ved Vyas? Brahman. He was a Shudra. Who was Valmiki? Brahman. He was a Shudra. No, Valmiki was, he was Shudra. अब पढ़ो. अरे हम तो ब्राह्मण हैं, अब पढ़ो. क्या पढ़ रहे हो? So don't get caught up anywhere. Our focus is on the truth. From wherever it comes, then you are a Brahmana. And for that, we must study and expose ourselves and make our children also expose. To what? For here it says, who cherish our manifestations in the form of 3 Vedas through concentration of the mind, reflection, study and self-control. So, what is Vedas through concentration of mind? First, teach them, very generally I am speaking, concentration, make them learn chanting. Mind focuses. You have learned, no? All the Rudram and Chamakam and Purusha Suktam, all that. Mind becomes focused. You learn to hold on to one particular scheme of thought without any distraction for a certain period of time. Now, once that is done, you start having the ability to, so you know, for 15 minutes I can hold one thought without any distraction. Now you apply that mind to any job. You can hold on to that job, delve into that job, delve into that into the processes. You know, you have a capacity to dive into it for 15 minutes without any distraction. Keep increasing the. Nowadays I am learning. Learning means learning to chant Mahanarayana Upanishad. It's 1.5 hours long. अभी मैं Samidha and Aarti we are doing. So we learnt it, but it was too tongue twister and everything. So we left it. We went back to Gita. After 1 year, we have come back, and now it is going like. Still, we have to synchronize. Some places we are still making mistake, but 1.5 hour without stopping to take a break. You have to keep breathing in between and maintain the flow. You cannot, Asha, is paragraph ke, Asha, now we start. No, nothing like that. It's 1 hour 40 minutes it takes us. पसीना निकल जाता है उसमें. But while doing that, you must have known when you were learning that for one second you get distracted by something, the up and down changes. That is focus, that is concentration of mind. And once you become extremely alert towards that, automatically next step. As I said, when you are doing Aarti all the time, one day some line will click. Now that mind which is focused so much, it goes into that particular chanting. Narayana Parabrahma. Ah, Narayana is Brahman. What does that mean? I don't know. Okay, let me think. Now you know. You can stay for 15-20 minutes, half an hour, 1.5 hour. आजकल लेक्चर दे दे के 1.5 घंटा तो फोकस हो ही जाता है. So 1.5 hour. So keep hold on to that. Narayana Parabrahma. सोचते रहो. सहस्र शीर्षा पुरुषा. What does it mean? I have chanted it hundreds, thousands of times now. What does it mean? Reflection on that. What does it mean? Then, if reflection is going in the right direction, automatically contemplation will begin. It will lead to contemplation, meaning meditation. So here he says, through concentration of the mind, reflection, study, and self-control. Self-control is at the level of senses. We must make sure that they do not go in the wrong direction. If you have a chariot with 5 horses, like Arjuna's chariot was with the 4 or 5 horses, if each horse decides I will go my way, will the chariot reach its destination? Not possible. If Arjuna has a charioteer, he had a charioteer before, but for the war, he asked Krishna to become the charioteer, to be the charioteer. Why? Krishna is a better charioteer than his charioteer before. Why? Because Krishna is who he is. So, who is the chariot? Who is controlling the senses? If we allow the eyes want to see, the ears want to hear, they are doing it. But no, I like this. Who is the one who is controlling them from behind? The mind or the intellect, isn't it? The mind is called as the reins which are connecting to the horse. And who is holding the reins? That is the intellect. How powerful will be the charioteer who is controlling the reins of the mind? It will depend how much he is established in dharma, the intellect. And can you get dharma by interacting in the world? No. Then how can you get? Study the scriptures. What are the scriptures talking about? Paramatma. Hold on to. And where is the Paramatma? Expressing as the self. So what should your intellect do? Contemplate on the self as the self of all. Sahasra Shirsha Purusha. Your senses will automatically come in control. But till that time, you control your senses. Every day expose yourself to the study of scriptures. Every day do some exercise of concentration. Every day do a little bit of reflection. And as this becomes a routine, without knowing, purification will start happening. But it should be, let it become a routine, but do it with love, do it with reverence, do it with awareness, do it with alertness, do it with vigilance, do it with without allowing distractions to come and disturb you. What are distractions? We are studying and we are taking here Bhagavad going on and स्वामी आप कॉफ़ी पियोगे क्या भी इतनी देर से बात कर रहे हो, पकौड़े भी दे दूँ उसके साथ में, हाँ कॉफ़ी चलेगी पकौड़ा भी चलेगा, एंड द लेक्चर इज गोइंग ऑन, देन स्वामी जी सेकेंड राउंड, हाँ हाँ वो भी चलेगा, अच्छा एक मिनट रुकना, हाँ दिस इज नॉट हाउ यू डू इट, दिस इज नॉट हाउ यू डू इट. When you go to do the puja, when you go to, just like you are here, we are all sitting here, we are focused for 1.5 2 hours. When you do your own puja, be focused. When you are doing your meditation, when you are doing your chanting, when you are studying that one verse that you are committed to study every day, do it with complete focus without allowing any distractions to. Distractions will come, but you don't give value to them. You can't stop the world from coming to you, but you don't give value to them. That is what is called what is that? Self-control. That is self-control. And really speaking, if you use the word self-control, the control of the faculties can come about only by focusing on the self. That is true integration. That is true. This is how we began in the beginning. क्या टाइम हो गया भाई? हो गया टाइम? हाँ 8 हो गया. Anyway, till another 2 verses. See, sometimes the verse is only one verse, but the depth of it is, you can keep talking about, there are so many different angles from which you can approach it. So we bow to the Brahmanas who cherish our verbal manifestation, our verbal manifestation. He is not saying Brahmaji's or Vishnu's or, see, one line. So it is not, because all of them are essentially one. So Vedas are not only Brahmas or only Vishnus or only Shivas, and Ishvara has no purpose in giving. He can only give speak when he manifests. He manifests as Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. So in every Purana you will find each one giving. Sometimes Shivji is giving it to Parvati, sometimes Vishnu is giving it to the Mahatmas, or Brahmaji is giving it to. But how does he do it? We don't pray to Brahma for the scriptures, we pray to Saraswati. She is so Brahmaji is the Purusha, Saraswati is his potentiality. She is holding the scriptures, isn't it? In her hand. Something to contemplate for you. Okay, 25th verse. Shravanad darshanad vapi mahapatakinnopi vaha shuddhyerantyaja chapi kimu sambhashanadibihi. By merely hearing about you or seeing people like you, even great sinners and the lowest born to get purified, what wonder then that people should get purified by conversing with you and so on. I remember even now, any time, for some reason, when, see, mind has its own journey. Why sometimes it is naturally quiet, why sometimes it is very active. But the moment sometimes it's active for no reason, I don't get flustered. What do? I get my japamala and I sit down. And the moment I sit down and chant my mantra, अपने आप वो जो hyperactive mind था, becomes quietened. What was the reason? I brought the mind towards its source through the help of the japa. Or sometimes if I feel from inside that japa, nahi, chalo, sirf breath. Sometimes only breath, sometimes only japa. whatever intuitively comes at that time, because I practiced many different, explored many different ways. See? So the moment I touch that mala, mind automatically, it has been trained for so many years now. Patak, mantra शुरू हो जाता है. जैसे यहाँ बैठने के बाद, व्यासपीठ के ऊपर बैठने के बाद लेक्चर अपने आप शुरू हो जाता है. कैसे क्या बोल रहा हूँ मेरे को भी पता नहीं, बुद्धि को पता है, बट it's just flowing. See? And for this period of time, it's not distracted by anything. It's not confused. It's not what I have to say next. Oh my God, there is mental block. कभी कभी हो जाता है ऐसा, but it's looking for the right words. That's all. See. So by merely hearing about you, some people feel blessed, just like that Louis or Teresa. Sai Baba came and blessed them. Just by seeing him, they felt that they were in the presence of the divine. So many people I have met who have seen Mahavatar Baba in their life. They feel blessed. Many people I have seen who have, when they come in the physical presence of a Mahatma, they don't want to touch their feet, they don't want to go and give a hug, they don't want to interact with that person. Just by being in that presence, in that vibe, in that vibration, they feel blessed. They feel a sense of calmness. It's okay. Everyone doesn't need to, you don't need to communicate with the sun. Just by being in the sun, you feel warm. See? So that's what Bhagwan is saying. Lord Shiva is telling Markandeya that by merely hearing about you, you meaning Brahmanas, Mahatmas, Sadhus, wise people, or seeing people like you, or even just having a darshan of such people. You were there na when we went to Chardham in Kedarnath. I can't refer, I have done it, gone so many times. I have fed so many times, but that time was special. आप मम्मी के साथ भी गए थे हम, तब भी हमने इतने सारे 40 महात्माओं को खिलाया था एक रेस्टोरेंट में. But what was the joy? You don't know their language, you are not communicating with them, they are just sitting there, you are making the chapatis, you ladies, and you are serving them, and some of you were, they were having tears of joy, of blessedness. They were so emotional. And it was similar bhav was there in that Mahatma also. They were also feeling. They say we never eat food from someone's hand. But because we are seeing the bhav, the feeling with which you are serving us, we can't say no to you. This is sadhu bhav. This is sadhu bhav. Do they know that you are Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra? No. A krutakrutyata, an extreme feeling of fulfillment just by being in the presence. And there are no words to, you can put many words, but it is much more than all those words put together. This is what he is saying. Seeing people like you, even great sinners, the lowest born to get purified. A good example coming in front of my mind is Ratnakar Daku coming in the presence of Narad Muni. Narad Muni is a great sage. Ratnakar is a Daku who is having a daily, for daily living, he is killing and looting and murdering people. But the moment he comes in the presence of Narad Muni, a transformation happens and he becomes a great sage, Valmiki. And is the one who writes the Ramayana, a Shudra from that sense. But he grew, he is a Maharishi, he is a Brahma Rishi. And Ramayana is what? It is Adi Kavya. It is the first, the beginningless, the first, the foremost poetry. See? They too get purified. What wonder then that people should get purified by conversing with you and so on? And what to talk about those people who are able to have a conversation with you? So Bhagavan is talking about himself, that I am having a conversation with you. I am grateful. I am blessed. I feel blessed. Bhagavan is saying, huh? Bhagavan, Shiva and Parvati are saying. This is, they are showing through their words, Bhagavan is telling us what should be our attitude towards those who are committed to the divine, those who are living a pure life, those who are committed to scriptures. We have great respect for those who are rich. हाँ प्लीज़ आके बैठिए, अपनी जगह से उठ जाएंगे, उनका खान पान सब करेंगे. पर एक भिखारी with the tattered clothes, a sadhu comes, you will not give him that respect. Many places it is seen, isn't it? It happens. You'll give importance to politician. Why? Because contract दिला सकता है. But that politician is a politician only for his period of, how many Australia? 3 years, isn't it? 4 in Victoria, 3 years in Prime Minister. Prime Minister 3 years, Premiers 4 years. Premier 4 years. That's the rule in Australia. See, Google it. Huh? So, what will after? So today I got all the contracts. After 3 years, they are taken away from me. But sadhu never takes away anything. He only gives and gives and gives and gives. For how long? He will give you blessings for all your life. Someone who is rich, someone who is powerful, someone who is a Siddha Purusha with powers, they can give you temporarily, but not permanently. Mahatmas can give you the blessings, they can give you permanently. This is the difference. But we, in the name of intelligence, that we are intelligent, that we are grown up, that we are matured, that we have seen life, yet you go to a sannyasi to ask about your family problems. You go to a sannyasi for your husband-wife problems. You go to a sannyasi or a Mahatma or a sadhu to bless your children or yourself. Whom are you going? Who doesn't have a family, who doesn't have a children. There must be some, then what should be your attitude? So we have, so God, Bhagavan is showing us that we have to respect and revere those. ढोंगी ब्राह्मण नहीं. आजकल इंडिया में तुम कहीं पे भी जाओगे, सब यही ड्रेस पहन के घूम रहे हैं. You know the latest? Uttar Pradesh government is bringing in a law that no beggars should be given any money. You can give them food, but no money. Who is doing this rule? A sannyasi is making this rule. A sannyasi is making this rule. Because of that money, children are being abducted, they are being made blind, then they are put onto a beggary racket. So much wrong is going on. But if this rule is, I think 1st July it is starting. So if this rule comes in and anyone seen giving money or photo ले लिया, आजकल तो Google है, WhatsApp है, it will become wild, straight away fine तुम्हारे ऊपर. See? Good. So entire state will be cleansed of all beggars. Then those beggars, if government is giving you food, if government is giving you free education, why there is begging? Laziness or selfish interest by these racketeers. That's all it is. It needs a sannyasi to think of a way, because sannyasi also goes and begs, but he begs it because it is his right. He doesn't beg because he is lazy. A sadhu begs, but that is not called begging, that is called bhiksha. He doesn't beg for money, he doesn't beg for clothes, he begs for food, and that also he has certain rules. That he can't ask for more than 5 houses. If first house says no, he can go to the next. If that says no, go to the next. If the 5 houses say no, then he has to go hungry for that day. But if he gets food from the first house, then he should not go to the second house. He should not, if he asks someone to stay outside on the chabutra for one night, to rest, he should not be a burden to any household for more than 3 days to sleep. He should go away from there. So those are certain rules with which the sannyasis, but not those people. If you go to Kashi, Badrinath, Kedarnath, every beggar is wearing these clothes nowadays.
Some Muslims are also doing that.
Yes, yes, yes.
Alert from Google, password required.
Last 2 hours I am giving passwords only. Didn't get it. Inert, no? Huh? Yeah, so see, so Brahmanas, because they are focused, because they are studying, they are disciplined, because their senses are controlled, they are able to think out of the box for the benefit of the totality. That is called yajna. One seed giving you 100,000 fruits for 40 years is a yajna. Drop by drop coming together, becoming a river to nourish the land is a yajna. Sadhu Purushas, what merely by their presence they nourish you, anyone indiscriminately, that is yajna. Is our presence nourishing the environment, whether inert or living people or animals? Is our presence nourishing? If it is not, correct yourself. Not correct physically, correct inside. How? Orient towards the divine. And therefore, such people, such Mahatmas, such Sadhu Purushas, they are revered even by gods. Suta Uvacha. We'll just quickly. Iti Chandralalamasya dharma guhyopabhamhritam vachomrutayanam rushi natrupyat karnayo piban sachiram mayaya vishnoho bhramita karshito bhrusham shivavagamrutadhvastah klesha punjastam abravit. The sage did not feel sated while drinking in the words of Lord Shiva, who wears the crescent as an ornament on his head, which were full of the secret of dharma, virtue, and the very abode of nectar, as it were, to the ears. So, when the Lord Shiva is speaking of the greatness of being in the presence of a Brahmana, like sage Markandeya, Markandeya ji was not fulfilled with those words, because Bhagwan is saying one thing and he is having an attitude of reverential attitude towards the Lord. He is looking at him. Huh? I'll tell you, when I went and saw Satya Sai Baba first time, 5 days I was there at Whitefield. First day, I was somewhere behind, didn't get. From second, third, fourth, fifth day, I got the first row. I used to get up early in the morning, 4 o'clock, come stand in the queue. I used to pray, Bhagwan, give me the right token. I used to go and I used to sit right on the red carpet where he used to walk. And everywhere, 4 days, second, third, fourth, and fifth, I used to get and used to walk on the other side. If I'm sitting here, he will walk there. If I sit there, he walks here. If I sit there, he walks here. And fifth day, I said, Yaar, Bhagwan, kya kar rahe ho? I just finished my Vedanta course. I come for your blessings, and you're not even giving me that satisfaction. And what is this? At least give me an indication that you have accepted my prayers. All I want is an indication. क्योंकि we are full, हम पढ़ के आए हैं, हम ब्रह्मचारी हैं, ये हैं, वो है, ब्ला ब्ला ब्ला. 30 मार्क कहाँ बन जाते हैं स्क्रिप्चर्स पढ़ने के बाद? शुरुआत में ऐसे ही होता है. जब लोगों के सामने आते हैं तब फुस हो जाती है सारी. So because with the new clothes, you expect you should be, if you are in front of a grahastha, initially sometimes it goes into the head कि अरे I am a brahmachari, I should be respected. It should not go that way. But anyway, when I was in front of him, 4 days, no. Last day, I am sitting here on this row, and he is coming from there straight. And then there is an intersection, and he looked, and I am looking at him, and he saw me from the corner of his eye. And I just that look was enough. I said, thank you. And he turned. And he took about 5-7 steps to go into that direction. And I got dejected. I said, यार दर्शन दे, पैर छूने क्यों नहीं देते, मेरे सामने क्यों नहीं आते? What wrong I have done? Am I not more qualified than all these people sitting here because I have studied Vedanta? See how my mind is going. And suddenly it struck my mind, you stupid Buddhu, fool, because you have studied Vedanta and studied the scriptures, you don't need any special attention. All these people who have not studied, they need more blessings than you. And the moment that, see, I'm talking to myself, and immediately the tears started flowing with that realization how foolishly I was demanding his attention. Or मैं बैठ गया, and because he was, this is the row, and I was sitting in this direction. Then when he turned there, I turned in this direction, and I am sitting and crying. Tears of, as melting is going on with the realization. And suddenly someone pushed me. देखा तो he is standing next, the person, there was a Russian in front of me and Russian on this side. And he is standing in front of this Russian, speaking to him in Russian. And I opened my eyes. Oh my God. From far away, he looks so tall, he is tiny. Now, the reason I am giving you this story is, when I saw him, I thought he was very tall or normal height. He is very short. So photograph I have seen, and I looked at his hair, then I turned around, looked at his hair, looked at his forehead, eyebrows, eyes, with how much love and compassion he is talking to this Russian fellow. And this Russian fellow also, he asked him also, he is talking to them, he is not looking at me. यार ये क्या है स्टोरी, दोनों से बात कर रहा है, और and he is collecting the letters from everyone. And I felt, okay, at least he came in front of me. Thank you, Bhagwan, you gave me the sign. I closed my eyes and sat down. While I closed my eyes, he came and stood in front of me. And I am again, पीछे से धक्काया, मैंने फिर से देखा, अरे ये तो मेरे सामने आके खड़ा हो गया. वैसे ही भगवान भी मार्कंडेय ऋषि के सामने आके खड़े हो गए थे. So he is watching the Chandra on his, and the snake around his neck, and the Trishul in his hand, and the Damru, everything he is watching. everything is representing an aspect of his personality, and those vibrations are what is making the whole creation, isn't it? Story complete ही कर देता हूँ. And then when I saw him, and tears are flowing, and I'm looking at him, and I come down, and he's standing like this. He's not standing like this. He's standing like this here. I said, "Oh, why you are not, you showed me your whole form? Why you are not showing me your feet?" My mind is saying inside. Suddenly, the right foot comes out. The moment I thought this, right foot comes out. I said, "What about the other one?" They said, "Next one comes out." The moment it came out, the sevaks on both sides, don't touch, you are not allowed to do. Piche se, that very moment, it was his will, I will say, that a push came, and I went and hugged him like this. He could have fallen also. But I hugged his feet like this, put my forehead on his feet, and time stopped. Time stopped. I don't know for how long. And then he moved his right toe like this. I felt some tickling here. Suddenly I came. And then he moved. And then he started manifesting the vibhuti, giving it to other people. Look at how the mind is. After having pada namaskar, I want vibhuti again. And he is not giving it to me. He is giving it to everyone. My hand is out, but he is not giving it to me. Then someone else put a little bit. And as someone else was giving it, someone other hand came and pushed it away. So I didn't get any vibhuti. Then suddenly I realized, Beokoof, just now you had pada namaskar and now you want a vibhuti also. Kitna selfish hai tu. Again that realization. See how we are stuck in our selfishness. Again that realization made the ego melt another notch. See? Same thing he is telling here. The sage did not feel sated. He did not feel satisfied by just the words, because he is lost in the form of the Lord there, in the presence of the Lord. Then Sachiram Mayaya Vishnoho Brahmita Karshito Brusham Shivavag Amrita Dvasta Klesha Punjastam Abravit. Having been made to revolve for long by the Maya, deluding potency of Lord Vishnu, and subjected to a severe trial, the sage was relieved of all his afflictions by the nectar-like words of Lord Shiva, and spoke to him as follows. Now remember, I didn't tell you you remember the story from before, no? For how many cycles, millions of years, he kept going into the mouth of that baby Narayana, and then in there again he found another baby Narayana, then again, and it went on. And one day suddenly he is thrown out and he finds himself back in his ashram. But sometimes, just like a memory also disturbs us, sometimes thoughts don't leave our mind. Similarly, he also remembers how long I have been shuffled through the effect of Maya, and now, and naturally anyone who is gone through that experience is harrowed by that experience, yet he has calmed himself down, held on to the feet of the Lord Vishnu, and after so many years, someone first time came and spoke. Imagine if you are in a solitary confinement, majority people go mad, isn't it? That's why they put them into solitary confinement, because they break down, so then they can be reformed. Here he is in a solitary confinement, nobody to talk to, for how many? Thousands, millions of years. And now when he comes across the Lord himself, and Lord is saying all good things about Brahmanas, it's nectar like words. It's nectar like words. Ramchandra ji also spoke similar words, the Navavidha Bhakti, to Shabri. But where was Shabri's attention? Shabri is listening, but her attention is on Ram. And how she is interacting with Ram? Atmatvena. Therefore, the moment Navavidha Bhakti concludes, she drops her body, becomes ash, merges into the Lord. तुलसी रामायण में पढ़ा होगा. See? We'll stop here for today. Then what sage Markandeya says to our to our Shivji, that we'll see in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Guru Namaha. Harihi Om.